1 in 5 college women, 1 in 16 college men have been sexually assaulted. It's Lady Lily again, back with another video, and I present the Quad review, episode 5, Mule Bone. So, in this episode, President Eva Fletcher, as well as coach, the football coach, hear different sides of the story in search of the truth. Dr. Fletcher has taken Sydney home with her, and they're having a one-on-one discussion trying to recall the events for the night. Meanwhile, on campus, the coach and Terrence are having the same conversation as well. Both Terrence and Sydney recap the night. So apparently Sydney ends up going back to that the frat house that she was in, that she had got drunk in before. She's coming back, and the fraternity members are, pretty much saying, you're gonna be good tonight because last time you was out of control and we almost got in trouble for that. So she sees Terrence, and Terrence sees her. So I mean, it's a flip flop with the story because Terrence is making it seem like Sydney was coming on to him, and then Sydney was making it seem like he was coming on to her. So there's two different sides of the story. Sydney did admit that she had some things to drink. So there was alcohol involved. So the judgment, the decision making, was pretty much impaired. So we do know that Terrence supposedly ended up walking her home, and from her version, she give him a little kiss, but then from his version, he make it seem like she's all over him. So they show one version where it's just them fooling around, falling in the grass, having sex. And then there's another version from Sydney's end of him forcing her down, raping her. So there's two sides to the story. So of course, when anybody's been raped, it's important that you, take them to the doctor so they can be examined. So Eva was at the doctor with Sid, and at first Sid was like, I want my mom to stay, blah, blah, blah. But as the doctor examined her and started asking her questions about sexual history and the encounters of the night, she asked Eva to leave. Meanwhile, Eva's out in the hallway. She gets a phone call, or she makes a phone call, and she sees Cesar Diamond leaving out of the oncology department. So she turns her head, and then he sees her, and he walks towards her, and he make it seem like, oh, it's just a checkup, getting blood draw, checking cholesterol. And she was saying, well, hopefully everything's okay. He said, yeah, just the regular checkup. And then he said, my apology, not apologies, but I'm sorry for what happened to your daughter, and I hope things work out, yada yada yada. So I don't know if that was their version of making amends, but Eva looking at him like, dude, I just seen you come out that department. You doing more than just getting a checkup. So I think, as we go further along into the season, Caesar's health condition is going to get out. Meanwhile, let me see here. Okay. Meanwhile, the football team is having a press conference. They got a big game coming up, and apparently since they are now popular, there's no room for the coaches. They had the interviews in the coach's office. They had to move to the president's conference room. Then they were asking different questions to Terrence about, him playing on the field and bringing it for the next game. And then they asking questions to Bojan as well. And then the student reporter, who we have seen throughout the series as well, blast Terrence and said, aren't you facing some rape allegations? But Coach, he turned it around and said, if it's not questions pertaining to the game or football, we ask that you not ask those at this time. Meanwhile, there was a group that got it together. I don't know if it was a class or just a group of, I don't know if it was just like a regular class that was meet up to discuss, or was it like student group, but they had a discussion on, about rape and what's the importance of rape versus consent. Can consent be pulled? Can someone give consent for sex and then change their mind? The answer is yes. I also, when I teach my freshmen in the fall, we talk about dating, sex health, and rape and sexual assault. We do talk about that, and you can give someone consent, and you can go back and renege and change your consent. No pretty much means no in this case, but there was back and forth saying, well, Sydney is a hoe, she's out there when she thought, and then Noni did step up and say, just because somebody got their breasts out or got a short skirt on, it doesn't mean that it gives you the red, the green light to just do whatever you want. So they had, some good dialogue going, and then one of the young ladies did mention, like, well, 2 people got raped, last year, but it was like nothing happened. So why is it a big deal? Is it a big deal because it's now the president's daughter? So, and the answer to that, yeah, it is, because she's just that president. She's the president, and it's her daughter. She's gonna push it. Meanwhile, Sid ends up returning to her dorm room, and Madison is happy to see her. She want to know if she's okay. What was the next steps? And Sydney informed Madison that she's going to move back into the president's mansion with her mom for now to, I don't know, till things cool off, to assemble, but that's where she's going. So her and Madison, Madison's really trying to, Sydney feels like Madison is doing the most right now. And really Madison is really just trying to help and be supportive. So Sydney is packing her things, and she is moving out. Meanwhile, the student reporter who we saw throughout the episode, she was questioning Bojan earlier about, she questioned him early in the episode, talking about, taking Terrence's spot, and then she was talking about some, tell me about the choking incident. And then I guess she came to visit Bojan to get the scoop on what really happened outside of just, the interview process or the cameras or whatnot. So she just wanted, and I guess that was her way to apologize as well. And somehow she bonded with Bojan, and they played some video games. And I think Bojan is taking a liking to her. Let me see here. So taking a liking to her. Meanwhile, there was a scene on campus where Terrence is leaving practice or whatever they're doing, and there's a group of women that's protesting right outside the locker room saying, rape is not cool. We would not tolerate, violent behavior. So he's feeling a little heat now, even though he told Coach, I didn't do it. He's feeling a little heat because, people checking him like, dude, that's not cool. So anyway, Eva ends up meeting with the university council, and she is saying that they cannot expel Terrence just yet until the Atlanta PD does a full investigation. So Eva's not feeling that. She was like, so you mean tell me he can roam free about the campus and play football? And the council said pretty much, because if we start expelling and making accusations until an investigation has been, thoroughly processed, there can be, the university can be hit with lawsuits. So she said right now their hands are tied. And then, Eva's not feeling that. And then, Petaway is just like, trying to keep her calm, but she was like, this meeting is over. You can get out. So she don't like dude anyway. So that's that. Then Bo John saw the little student report again. Now I think he's taking a liking to her, and he wanted her to go out to the movies with him. He said he has, due to football and class, he really hasn't had a lot of time to, get out and explore Atlanta. So he invited her to a movie. She then goes and get his fellow teammate to tag along with them, and Bo John is kind of salty because that was his way of trying to initiate, some type of date. But his teammate ended up going along as well. So Eva went to talk to the coach, and they're kind of like on conflicting sides because the coach says he believes Terrence. He said Terrence looked him in the eye, and he said he believed them. And then Eva, mentions, do you know, he had a prior case. So this comes out with the Atlanta PD search investigation that apparently Terrence had an alleged similar situation happen to him in high school. But what happened was the girl retract her statement. So there was a report filed, but then the girl went back and she retract, her statement. And Eva was coming to coach with that, like, did you know that? And he was like, somewhat, but the case got thrown out. The girl retract her stuff, and Eva was like, by any means to build this football team, you oversee stuff. And he just went back to say, hey, I got 2 girls, and that's what mattered the most. And I'm gonna look out for them as the father. So, he pretty much told Eva that she can excuse herself, and Eva, in other words, told him she ain't going nowhere. So from there, there is a little party on campus that takes place. Once again, Bo John is checking out the student reporter girl. He's liking her. And what I got from Junior, the teammate and friend, maybe, she got a man or something like that. That's what I'm getting. But Bo John's still checking her out. I think Bo John is going to end up getting him a sister. So the episode pretty much ends with Sydney. She's back at home with Dr. Fletcher. They are going ham on social media saying Sydney is a slut. She's they saying rich girl's lying. She's a thought. Blah 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 blah. So she's really hurt by this because she feels like she's been violated. Well, she has been violated, and people are just taking Terrence's side because Terrence is the known football player. And then she gets upset and she starts crying, and there's a ring at the door, and it was Madison coming to her rescue. So shout out to Madison. Madison is really a good friend to Sydney, even though Sydney might not realize it. That was she's a good friend. But that's just the gist of the episode. It was really light, low key. They pretty much, this episode was really just looking at both people's sides, and I hope the truth will reveal itself, but I think I am on Sydney's side because Sydney fast as hell. Why would she have to lie about the rape, and then they were saying, and then my whole thing, who wears dresses and heels and all this to a football game? No, boo, we had on jeans, we had on jogging pants, and we had on shorts. When I used to go to the football game back in college, you didn't get dressed up. Dress up to do what? You got dressed up to go to a party, a formal. You didn't get dressed up to go to no football game of all places. So that's it. That's all. I think next week is going to be interesting because Dr. Fletcher's husband is coming back and look like the divorce is finna get nasty. And then something goes down with Noni and the band, and Cizo Yeah, so that's just what I saw in the previews. So stay tuned for more videos. To my subscribers, thanks for stopping through. To the newbies, come on, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, and get more alerts. If you like what you see, let me know. Drop some comments down below. Have a good evening. And I think I'm gonna take a little small break from recording. I'll see, but yeah, I got a purse sale coming up, so stay tuned. Peace.